Hey everybody, Alaskan Trapper here. I've been boiling wood, dyeing and waxing my traps out here, and I wanted to go over it. I've looked on YouTube and looked and looked and looked, and there's just not a good video in my opinion on how to take care of your traps. So I thought I'd make one here. I wanted to do a comparison here. I want to talk about theory. Now the whole idea is, this here is my 22 dispatch pistol. When I bought it, it was already blued. It's basically a finished product. You can use it the way it is. This here is number 5 full strap, same deal. Real nice metal work, but it isn't finished. When you get them, you got to finish out the swivel, and you got to do them up to make them work for you, like I've done with this. I turned this into a wolf trap for myself. Anyways, my point is that when they get done making this, then they blue it. Bluing is an acid type treatment, and it etches the dye into the metal, and it makes it rust resistant. Not rust proof, but rust resistant. And because I use this, it gets wet when I'm out in the field and when I'm using it outside, and you need something to protect the metal, and that's what the gun industry does. Well, dyeing a trap is the same thing. It's kind of the wrong word to use, kind of like covey or stretcher. Kind of the wrong term for them, because everybody wants to stretch the furs out on a stretcher, and that's not really the purpose of it. It's to hold it from shrinking. But anyways, I wanted to go over theory here. Everything you read, it says boil your trap and then rust it. And that's like the worst possible thing you could do. Do they take your gun, get all done with it, and rust it all up real good and then blue it? Well, of course they don't. And the reason this has happened is because if you rust this thing, the purpose of dyeing is not to turn your trap black. The purpose of dyeing is the same purpose of bluing. Logwood dye has an acid in it, and the acid etches its way into the metal and protects the metal, makes it rust resistant. And it just doesn't make any sense at all to take your nice brand new shiny trap in perfect condition, clean it all up, and then rust it. Rust is the metal deteriorating. It slows it down when it makes it rough, slows it down, it makes everything weaker. If the springs are rusting, if the jaws are rusting, then they aren't as strong as they was when it was brand new. So I will show you the proof out here. I'm boiling, dyeing, waxing traps right now, so like I said, I wanted to go over the theory. So anyways, boiling is you get lye, which is sodium hydrochloride or hydrochloride or whatever, basically Drano. You get Drano, and that's what you boil them in. I boil my traps for an hour, so they're at 200 degrees for an hour, and what that does is boils off the oil, and then I do my traps every single year, all of them. This year I did 35 dozen traps so far, and I've got another 7 traps out here I'm doing. 7 dozen traps that I'm doing. That's the other thing, most of these shows on YouTube, they're doing 1 trap at a time, and when you do 500 traps, that doesn't work. So anyways, I wanted to go over it, and I wanted to talk about theory first. So anyways, boiling, you boil them in lye, you do it for an hour, it gets every impurity off it, gets the metal as clean as it can get. Dye is very corrosive, obviously, it cleans your drain. So I'll show you here, I'll do an example, but you pull it out of your lye, and then even though it's cleaned off, well, let me go take a step back. My boiling tank has an overflow, so that when you get done boiling them, you take your hose and you clean all the impurities off the top, run them out the overflow into the overflow bucket, so that when you pull the trap out, you don't get all the crap back on your trap. The oil floats, wax floats. That's the whole purpose of boiling. So anyways, clean the scum off the top. Then pull it out of the thing and rinse it off real good. I have a hot water hose out there. Like I said, I'll be doing it for you to show you. Rinse it off real good, stick it right in the dye. The dye is not, if you want a black trap, Lucy stuff. If you want your trap to turn black, then by all means, rust the shit out of it, stick it in the dye for 5 minutes, pull it out, and you'll have a black trap. But that's not what you're doing. You're trying to keep this metal from rusting, just like the bluing on your gun. This, I got a few $100 into this. Well, I got 50 of these. I got 2 grand tied up in my traps. I want them in 20 years or 30 years now to be in perfect shape so I can give them to my grandson. That's the whole whole purpose of accumulating stuff is you can pass them on to your kids or your grandkids. I say grandson because my boys aren't trappers, my grandson loves it. So anyways, we'll go out in the shop here and I'll show you examples of traps of where it should be when you boil it. But the first time you dye a trap, it shouldn't be black. It'll be slightly darker and that's it, unless you rusted the crap out of it and then it'll turn black instantly. You don't even need to boil them, just dip it in there and you're done. Anyways, I boil them and clean them. I put them in the dye for an hour and boil them in the dye for an hour. I pull them out and rinse them off because you got pigment all over them. You want to get all the stuff out of them or you're going to contaminate your wax. I let them dry real good and then put them in the wax. Now the wax process, you bring your wax up to about, I have an infrared heat gun, bring your wax up, I like 220, and you put your traps in. When you put your traps in, if you check your wax, you're going to drop a few degrees. Well, you leave your traps in there until your temperature comes back up to where you started. That way you know all the metal is up to temperature. The metal is 220 degrees, so when you pull them out, you don't got wax stuck all over them, it isn't gobbing up and dripping all over the trap. And I'll show you how that works. So I'll show you some examples I got out here of traps I've been taking care of. So here's a bunch of old traps. These here conibears, I already dyed and waxed them this year, but they've been hanging out in the shed for 8 years. I don't use them anymore, but that's how they look after you do them a whole bunch of times. These here, number ones, been hanging in the shed for 12 years. That's how much rust they got on them hanging in the back of the wood shed for the last 12 years. Just barely rusting. And now I got some out here that I put in the tub that I'll show you how they turn out. So anyways, here's a good example of conibears. These ones right here are I just did for the first time today. You'll see that they hardly turn color at all. These ones here I've had about 10 years. And you'll see they're almost black, right? Okay, here's some number 2s that are brand new. It's the first year doing them. Turn them dark a little bit. Here's some 3s. This is the second year on them 3s, and you see they're a little bit darker. Now here's a great example. I want to show you these 3s. I've had these 3s for, I don't know, probably 20 years at least. You look at them, they're the old style 3 with the loop. New ones have a double plate and all that. But anyway, I've had these forever. There is no rust whatsoever on these traps. I'm going to pass these on to my grandson. They're 25 years old and they're in perfect shape. No rust on them. That means the springs aren't weak, the jaws ain't weak, the trap ain't weak. You know, you've seen my hot lashes if you watched my first video. I dye and wax them, so everything, when I go make a set, everything's there. I'm not going to add anything. But that's how it goes. 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. My wax heating up, it was around 200 degrees getting ready. So anyways, here's the other thing. Everybody has a barrel stuck on blocks, teeter in there, accident waiting to happen. Spend $100 and make a trap boiler. This trap boiler is just, it's 2 barrels, a 55-gallon drum cut in half, so that's $10-20. And then you got down here is an old barbecue. You just take the 2 burners off the barbecue and put them under the barrel. Then it had a side burner. These barrels have been wrapped with fiberglass and then I put flashing around them. So they're insulated. You can see the layer of insulation. You gotta have a lid, gotta have insulation. Gets your temperature and hold it constant. And then for a wax barrel, I've got a stainless steel keg so that you can keep everything clean. I don't know if you can see that. This is a stainless steel keg with fiberglass wrapped around it with flashing thing with those. The side burner is on, so these are all running at the same time. So the process is, this side has lye, has your basic Drano, Roto-Rooter, Drano, whatever kind of drain cleaner you can find. It's sodium silicate or sodium hydrochloride, sorry about that. Sodium hydroxide, sodium hydrochloride, that's what lye is. Anyways, here's the 2 barrels. The clean side has the overflow right here, so you just run the level of the water up and then you rinse off the top. This side is a dye. They've both been running for an hour, so I'll add a little of this so that the level comes up to the overflow. I don't know if you can see the crap on top of there or not. And then you take your water and you rinse it right out the overflow. This gets rid of all the crap on the surface, all the wax or oil or rust, scale, anything that came off of your traps that you got in there. If you got new ones in there, then you'll have mostly oil. If you got last year's in there, then you'll have some wax stuff. So anyways, that gets it off the surface. And so I do the dye side first, of course. Have yourself something here to cook them on. You pull out your traps that you've been dyeing, hold them up here and rinse them off good. Get all the black pigment off. That black that's on there ain't gonna do you any good anyway, then if you put them in the wax, it's all just gonna contaminate your wax. So you rinse them off good. And you'll notice this metal didn't dye very good. These were already kind of dark, but the cable that was silver, look how it turned black. So you notice the dye is working in there. Try to do this as quick as possible. I put them in there here in order so that I can become a layer. These 330s, they're a big pain in the butt to do. Anyway, pull them out, rinse them off. Most of the water gets back in the tub, not all over, of course. You got a little mess on the floor. Got a big fan right on the top, taking all the moisture out. It's 40 below outside right now. We've been 40, 50 below for the last 3 weeks. Anyways, I got three batches in here. That's all the crap off. I'm convinced the rusting thing came around because if you rust your traps, they instantly turn black. That's the only other thing I can figure. I started doing this about 40 years ago, and back then nobody ever said rusting it. Everybody knew how to do it. Alright, is that all 4 of them? Let's see. Alright, that was all of them. And then we take our traps out of this side. This is the boil side, have the lye in it. If you look at the trap, you'll see, or the cable, you'll see the white galvanized on the cable is from the lye taking the galvanized off. And then you take these out and you rinse them off real good. Even though they've been in acid, you don't want all that acid going over into your dye tank. This is a new batch of Super Trees that I just made for myself. Put them in there's little hooks all the way around the inside. Hook the wires on. Rinse your cables good because they got that white gummy crap all over it. The first 35 dozen took me 2 days to do. I just got 7 dozen to do today. Thank goodness. $6.30 here. in the dye. They can rinse the surface off again, so I get some done with that side. Turn the burner off. Done with that side for tonight. We'll let this side cook for an hour. Then we'll check our wax here. Gotta have a heat gun. Okay, well. So anyways, I do these in twos. That's all it'll fit in here in 330s, 2 at a time. And it ain't fun either. The wax, I didn't go over the purpose of the wax, but the wax, it's odorless and seals up the metal, but it's also a lubricant. But really the biggest reason, as far as I'm concerned, for wax and traps, it's because you don't want to contaminate your fur. I bought a cat here the other day. Oh, I'm in the picture now. I bought a cat the other day and I could tell the guy had rusty traps because there was a big rusty stain on the foot. And nothing takes, I buy most of the taxidermy stuff. Do 2 3 is almost too much. I used 35 pounds of wax, but I already did 37 traps. And now we lost 2 degrees, so we'll let that sit there and heat up until we get 2 more degrees, and then we can pull everything out. So anyways, I guess I went over everything. Like I said, number 1, build yourself a trap boiler. Don't be putting a drum on cement blocks and letting it teeter and fall and somebody get hurt. This is about 50 bucks if you find an old barbecue that isn't any good that somebody backed into, like I did mine in a barrel for 10 bucks. Then you put your overflow and a couple of drain valves and a lid on here, and then you can handle your traps correctly. You can get them up to boiling temperature, and you can control the temp of this, because controlling temp on your wax is critical. And we've already gained a degree. It doesn't take long for the temperature to get back up. Anyways, this is what I think about it. Everybody has their own opinion. You can make your own decision. Well, the other thing I wanted to show you is this is kind of a good indicator. If you look in here at this trap boiler, this here is the original barrel. It's in perfect shape. This is a brand new one because I built this about 12 years ago. This one rusted completely out. That dye preserves that barrel. It'll probably last forever. The dye is actually for preserving. It's not to turn your trap black. Really, up here, I only trap in snow. It wouldn't even make any sense. It would only make sense for me to dye them white if I was doing it to dye them. So anyways, that's the process. Get all the crap off them, rinse them good, put them directly in the dye. Do not rust them. All you're doing is deteriorating your trap. You can't give it to your grandson 30 years later like I'm doing with mine. Dye them good, rinse them off so you get all this spare pigment off. Get your wax 220, put them in there. Temperature will go down to 18, 17, something like that. Let it get back up to 220. As soon as it's the temperature, that means the metal in your traps is good. They're ready to pull out, hang up. And then, oh, and the other thing I didn't say is always put your traps on a wire. I put two wolf traps, I put 2 330s, and everything else takes 6. My 3s and my 155s. I got some 155s I'm doing today and stuff. So anyway, I put them bundles of 6, and that's what fits in here. In here I can put 4 batches, so I can put 2 dozen 3s or 8 numbers 330s, or when you're doing 30, 35, 40 dozen, the faster you can do them, the better. But if you don't boil, dye, and wax your traps to where they're totally odor-free, it's like not sighting in your gun. Anyways, hope you like the video. I just started my channel. We'll be putting a bunch of fun stuff on there. We're going to be going ice fishing here in a couple of weeks. You know, then halibut fishing's coming up here in a couple of months. Bear baiting, and then the fish wheel goes in the water in the Copper River. So be lots of fun stuff coming up on my channel. So subscribe and give me a like and all that kind of crap for your channel. I appreciate it. Talk to you guys later.